Brent here with Bring Your Own Tools, and on today's episode we are going to be fixing these old sad concrete steps. If you want to learn how to do it, keep on watching. Let's get started. Now, as you can see, these are some really rough looking steps. I mean, as you can see, very large indents, some very large cracks through the years of basically this entire foundation subsiding slightly. However, I did think about jacking out this whole thing once and for all, but I wanted to first see if we could dress it up to the point where we actually really like it and completely transform this whole space from this to this. Yep, just like that. But we'll get to that and we'll show you how we did this in the first place. Let's do it.
For the first portion of this project, we're just talking about prep and specifically trying to vacuum up all the miscellaneous dirt, particles, and debris out of this space so we have a clean work surface to work off of is pretty important, especially for good adhesion. Now, for that larger portion that needs to be filled, I'm actually using rapid set concrete mix because it actually sets up within 15 minutes, which is extremely important, especially when you're considering that you want a fix for this step in a quick, orderly fashion, but you don't have to sacrifice strength either. Now, anytime you're trying to adhere old concrete to new concrete, you want to use a concrete bonding adhesive. This basically just helps the adhesion process between the two, and you can either add it to your mix or specifically coat the existing concrete in it prior to applying your new concrete. As we wait for the concrete mix to dry, I then proceed to mixing our Abaweld. Now, if you haven't used Abaweld before, it's actually a really cool, remarkable product, which is actually a sag-resistant epoxy paste. You have a two-part mix that once mixed thoroughly, it can be hardened underwater, it's non-shrinking, and it can also resist slumping from the slab up to 3/8 of an inch thick on a vertical surface, which is pretty amazing. As for my specific project, you can obviously tell that it has slumped significantly, but I know for certain that it hasn't really moved for years. So therefore, I feel like this slump is basically as far as it's going to go and won't get any worse over time. Only time will tell on that, but at this point, I feel confident that this product will work perfectly and we won't have to worry about significant slumping for years to come. As I'm applying this product, you can really tell the fact that this product adheres extremely well with any surface that it comes in contact with, which is really why I wanted to use this product over another concrete mix type product because of the adhesion properties that this product actually has in it.
Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, this is a diamond wheel attached to my grinder with a shield for dust. Now, this is a perfect setup, especially when you're trying to take off copious amounts of paint and everything else off of a cement product.
Which is exactly what we're gonna be doing. So, make sure you have a good quality diamond wheel that also has a shield to protect from all the dust and debris that's gonna be created very shortly.
Not only is it important to have some type of vacuum system attached to your grinder when doing this type of work, but it's also extremely valuable to have a proper respirator when grinding this stuff off of this old slab because you don't know what's in this paint and you don't want this in your lungs. Trust me, your lungs will thank you for it. As for the grinding portion of this project, it's actually quite simple and actually a little satisfying to rip up all of this old disgusting paint that's been on there for decades, which immediately breathes new life into this whole space. Now, another nice thing about this shield is that you can actually take off the front portion and therefore you can get extremely close with your grinder while still being able to suck up the vast majority of the dust that it creates. As you can see, we're getting all the way up to that very corner and we're able to remove all the paint without having to come back around and do miscellaneous touch-up work. As for the Abaweld, once it's dry, you're easily able to grind away the excess material and it leaves a perfectly smooth finish that mirrors the same feel that the concrete has adjacent to it. It obviously doesn't look the same because it's obviously two different products, but that's why we're going to be painting these steps. And just like any of the products or tools that I feature on this channel that I know and trust, I will leave links in the description box below on where to actually purchase them. So if you are interested in this Abaweld product or this grinder or this grinding wheel, please check them out below. Thank you. At this point in time, you may be asking yourself, Brent, why did you just not pressure wash the thing? Well, there are a number of different reasons. One, I have pressure washed this in the past and there was very, very little paint coming off of this thing. Two, I didn't want to use some hardcore stripper because that's not environmentally friendly. And three, I would have to wait for this whole thing to dry thoroughly before I then proceeded to priming, and therefore I'd waste a day in order to do that properly. So this way you're able to grind it and prep the surface all in one day as well as prime it appropriately. Keep that in mind, especially if you're on a time crunch. Now, of course, in the end, there are a few miscellaneous areas where you just have to take off the shield and actually go at it with just the sole grinding wheel itself, because these corners are extremely tight, especially when you're talking about steps. And even there, we're not quite able to get into that very tight-knit corner, obviously due to the fact that this is a rounded disc in a square corner. But keep in mind, this is very minimal at the very tail end of the grinding process, and the dust that's created at this point of the project is extremely minimal due to the fact that the vast majority of our grinding was done with a shield. Once grinding is complete, I then take my shop vac and a broom and remove all the miscellaneous particles that were left behind. I tape off a few corners that just had a bit of a rough edge in order to prep for caulk. Now I'm using Dymaflex caulk in this type of application versus the Abatron because the Dymaflex is actually a lot easier to clean off, especially next to those bricks that I'm trying to have a nice clean crisp edge at, and therefore we still have a proper sealed step with a caulk that is also paintable, which is very important, especially when you obviously consider our next step, paint. Now, there's obviously a number of concrete sealers, primers, and fillers to choose from, but this is the one that I specifically chose on this project, and the only thing to keep in mind is to make sure you are using a sealer or a primer that's specifically dedicated to that. Don't get a paint and primer in one, because those generally don't withstand for years and years. You want one that its specific and sole purpose is to seal and prime concrete. This sealer can be used on the interior as well as the exterior. However, just note that if you do use it on an exterior, you do have to put some type of paint or top coat over the top of it. Whereas if you do have it on the interior of your house and you don't have to worry about moisture, then this can be your sole coat if you want. Once I have the sealer fully applied, I then let it dry overnight, and when I come back to it, I do find a couple areas where I need to reapply some caulk. They're pretty apparent just because you have a dark surface on a white surface, so I go through pretty quickly and easily to clean those up and then proceed to our final coat, the top coat.
Now that we have our primer layer taken care of, it's now time for our actual paint layer. And we're going to be using our bare porch and patio paint with an anti-skid additive in it to reduce slipping when it's wet. Now, first things first, I'm sure you're wondering, Brent, why are you going with a white porch and patio paint? Isn't it just going to get dirty? Yes, it is going to get dirty. And so be it, and I have to wash it every month or so because I want a beautiful, crisp, clean look to this porch. And guess what? I want it to pop. So there we go. Let me know in the comments what you think of this color selection, because I'm sure you all will. Let's get started.
I first mix up the porch and patio paint thoroughly and then proceed to pouring a portion of it into a separate container and then adding the anti-skid additive to it. That way I have a specific amount that I'm using on this porch and patio, and that way I can still use the other paint on another surface if I don't want the anti-skid additive to that. I'm using a normal paintbrush to cut in the edges as well as your standard paint roller to spread out the majority of the paint on the surface. Now I do go back with my paintbrush to go over the entire surface after I apply it with the paint roller, just to have a bit more of a clean, smoother look overall. As for this paint, I've used this on numerous projects, most notably BYOT number 1, where I actually painted my front entryway, and it held up extremely well for multiple years. But as always, I highly suggest applying 2 coats of this paint, or at least one very heavy coat. Now the very next day I come out to my beautifully cured white steps that has that beautiful white clean look, but also has a really nice grip to it because of the anti-skid additive I added to the paint. But we need to dress these steps up a little more, which is why I am going to be installing a stencil. Yes. Now this is from Cutting Edge Stencils, and they have a plethora of different designs, amazing designs, that have these really nice, high quality stencils that are plastic. And this is gonna be basically a mirror image of each other. So we're gonna do one side, flip it over, and do the other side. I think it's just gonna give this area a bit more pizzazz. Let's do it. With any good stencil placement, you want to go directly center, and therefore I'm going dead center on the door, which makes this layout pretty easy. Now I'm using my same house paint because I want to match that color, and therefore you want to ensure you're not going too heavy on your paint coat in order to reduce bleed over. Now the bleed over happens because when you use too much paint, it just gets into those crevices in those corners, which is why I'm actually dabbing off the excess paint first and then applying the paint to the stencil. After I'm done with the roller, I then proceed to using a professional stencil brush in order to accommodate all those small, tiny little areas that I can easily pinpoint with this brush versus a large roller. I'm basically just applying small dabs of paint in all those small crevices and therefore having a nice clean, even line of paint, which provides a nice clean look overall. Now, once you have one side taken care of, you then are easily able to peel off the stencil and then place it on the opposite adjacent side. Now, the stencil makes it extremely easy to do so because all you have to do is line up all the unique holes in that first row and you are good to go. I will for sure leave a link in the description box below on where you can actually find these stencils, but just know that they're extremely well made and a perfect way to add a bit of touch and flair to a seemingly ordinary area turns extraordinary with just a simple stencil. But guess what? Once dry, we are done. I've lived with these old ugly steps for over 10 years now, and to see this amazing transformation come to fruition and to see how the overall look and feel of these steps really transforms the look of the front of the house is truly remarkable, and in all honesty I should have done it a lot sooner. But also note that I will be doing a few more projects on this front entryway, in particular the left side where you see a lot of extra paint on the wall. It's not going to be left that way. And this is one before and after that I can truly say is one beautiful, sexy beast. Oh yeah.